Welcome and blessings. This is our new moon reading. The new moon is in Leo, which means the sun is also conjunct the moon in Leo. And our card that popped out called Soul Gifts and Training. It's time to step up. And perspective. Zoom out. None of this matters. Common ground. So, how is this Mars energy treating you? You might be feeling particularly energetic and inspired to take action in certain things in your life. It might have you feeling a little aggravated, agitated. This Mars energy, before I started this video, this young boy is screaming at his house. He's like really coming out. He's kind of graduating from his toddler self into his boyhood. And you can see him kind of breaking the chains of his what was passivity now into a much more vocal reality. So, that's almost a metaphor for maybe how you're feeling, how I'm feeling. We're kind of like breaking out and, in a sense, taking a stand and taking action in certain ways in our lives that are creating momentum and initiating change. And change can often just be energetic to get more kinetic energy, like getting your thoughts more in motion through communication. And a lot of these are just processes and exercises. Sometimes we don't necessarily get the result that the inspiration to take that initiated step was, intended to, to have a certain outcome, or but taking initiative with our voice, when it's coming from a place of kind of inspired action, does initiate a process for change to happen. So sometimes the results don't come in the way like you desired them to come in, but something greater starts to take over and happens when you're engaged in a conscious way with the process of life. So, what initiating changes are you making? And just don't be attached to the results, be more engaged with the exchange and the energies in the process. And indeed, something even better, comes out of that. Maybe not the fruit of the action, but the deepening of a relationship, or a deeper sense of gratitude for the process and for those involved in the process can be the result. And those are the real fruits and riches of a soulful engagement. So soul gifts and training, it's time to step up. So it is time to take initiative. And this Mars energy is really going to be giving us the necessary spark to energize that initiative. And this perspective card, the zooming out, finding common ground, that it's not necessarily victorious for you to win the argument or the debate, right? The common ground, to be in conversation and to learn from one another and to be in the process of growth is, I would say, the most valuable, rich resource we have. And there's a lot of need for coming into common ground and to really learn the skill of communication, learning how to communicate with one another. And conflict, communication doesn't equal conflict, and conflict doesn't equal war. I mean, you can be in a healthy, conflict with someone where two are committed to that engagement and two are committed to the growth and to learning something that that conversation is bringing in to, heal aspects of yourself. And I know that this is opportunities for this have been happening in my life pretty regularly recently. And I really welcome that process of being an active, engaged, curious, and responsive person, where I'm exercising my my voice, to speak what feels true in that moment, and then someone else speaks what feels true in that moment to them, and then in that exchange, because there'll be differences, then I'm able to almost like deepen my understanding of what that feeling was inside of me because of the active engagement with the other. Because other people's perspectives actually give us so much more understanding of our own. And when we really work with each other, there's so much growth in the connection and in that dance of differences, where we can find that unity, that commonality that always resides within the heart. And we can have all these different perspectives, but when we can really come into the common ground of conversation and really so hold each other in our heart, there's such a unity in that experience of connection in that moment. And that exchange is priceless. It's worth more than its weight in gold, And this first card that popped out in the tarot is Serenity. There is a real sense of like sereneness when we engage with life in that way, that we can keep our center, we can keep the being inside of the doing, we can be the the effortlessness inside of the action. And the serenity is really telling us, as we step up and as we engage, to hold that space of we don't have all the answers. None of us individually have all the answers. And so when we do actively participate and engage with one another, we learn really how intelligent other people are, and how much there is, everyone has their own expertise on their life and their development of their perspectives. And when we can really hold space and engage, we can keep our inner serenity while engaging inside of conflict. And that is a very emotionally mature place to be. However, we're being asked to graduate to that level, to be able to not agree. We don't have to agree, but we can be in that space of serenity and of inner peace, and to hold that unified field of love for the other, for the other's heart, for the other's soul. And in that, life becomes a lot more interesting and fun and dynamic, and there's not so much like hidden in the closet in our psyches. We don't have to stay in our own thoughts about everything. It is, we can engage with one another, and we don't have to hide ourselves from each other. It is safe to do this dance. And in that, we get the Ten of Crystals, which shows that, in that cooperative dance of conversation and staying in that serenity, all the gifts of the future are here now. It's like, that's what it's all about. I don't know what, put your right foot in, put your right foot out, put your right foot in, and you shake it all about. there's this, you remember doing that in a circle as kids, you know? You just, it's like when we cooperate and we really like play together, we can really create and do what is written to be done, the Akashic records. I feel like the message is in the Knight of Cups is like really following the intuition, walking through the portals of initiation. I'm gonna leave the reading as this. It's so simple and it's so clean. It's very high vibe. I know that we are, challenged and being yanked into conflict, and testing these waters of like if we can keep that serenity and keep that presence and that peace and that love in the field, the unity field of the heart. But when we really do that, and passivity and non-engagement is not the land of riches. We can be peaceful and engage in conflict and communication with one another with respect for the other as a human being, with a whole process of gains and losses and triumphs and failures, right? I mean, we're all human. We know the conditions and the emotional journey that the human being is on. And when we get into those like active engagements, holding the presence of peace, there is so much being reconstructed and rebuilt, and dots being connected in those pathways of communication. What's been so lacking in the world that we're leaving behind is communication skills, is that open, transparent, honest pathways that are led with by the compassion inside of the heart. And this time is graduating us to initiate the change, initiate the dialogue with serenity, utilizing your spiritual skills toolbox to engage with serenity. And sometimes it's the heat of Mars that initiates and jumpstarts the conversation, yet being the anchor of the unconditional fields of unity is paramount to be in the manifestation of the dream life that we want to build, and we do it together. It's not an isolated journey. We do this in community together, and that is in alignment with the Akashic records. And as the records zero out, and as we become the messengers of a higher, more primordial and godly alignment, we are living the divine purpose of the gift of being here, of the miracle of being here. And so if in any way you're feeling stuck, or you're feeling hyper agitated, or if you're just not where you want to be as far as your spiritual mastery, as far as being able to maintain and anchor this frequency, this chakra course that I'm teaching starting Friday, September 4th, and it goes for 3 weekends, will support you to anchor more of this energetic in your life. And it will be a reference point for you to be able to come back to, and it will be a catalyst for you to change habits that are in a field of like kind of the old you that has more density, and it will catalyze the energy to accelerate your process into the future you that you want to breathe life into now. And so I don't need to say any more about that. I'll have the link below this video for you to explore if that might be a good option for you. And happy new moon. If you want a private reading, please contact me as well. And wishing you abundance of blessings and so much love always. Aloha.